ToonGrin.com.
Yeah, I think that's proof enough that I'm Canadian. But seeing as is the big 150 of Canada coming up, I thought that it would be good to have our crack team here at Cartoon Corner, namely just obnoxious, devise a way to consolidate everything Canadian that we Canadians know and love, to mold it into an entity that would be perfect to review Canadian cartoons with. The last thing that we need? The lone beard follicles of the greatest Canadian hero, Top-Notch Robert.
Wait, who's that?
Bite your tongue, obnoxious! Top-Notch Robert is without question the greatest Canadian folk hero that has ever existed. He is the manliest of men and the most gentle of gentlemen, with a Canuck's gentleness and strength of spirit. Once, when he wanted some syrup for his fluffy flapjacks, he climbed to the highest peak and found the greatest of maple trees and gave it a northwestern bear hug, squeezing the pure maple syrup to rain down from the sky upon his flapjacks, so that he and the rest of the children of the country can indulge in it.
Wowie gazowies! Can I see him do that?
Oh, obnoxious. Of course not. That's way out of our budget. Now, let's start this review off right. Ready, obnoxious?
No, I'm just disappointed. Hello, I'm Monty the Moose. How about we have a cup of tins and a game of hockey after we review some Canadian cartoons, eh?
Perfect. Yes, there are many reasons I love Canada, from the gorgeous scenery to the more positive stereotypes and cliches.
Aboot! Oh! I'm sorry, but you're a hoser. Never do that again, eh?
But as a quiet little Canuck in the 90s, I never could really appreciate all of the positives that Canada offered me, because that really wasn't something that children would really think about. What I could appreciate about Canada was its animation. Yes, growing up as a kid who would scoff at most things live action, cartoons were my haven to indulge in for hours on end, and in those hours I saw the many weird, mundane, and incredible directions that Canadian animation could be taken in. It was surprising, engaging, boring, infuriating, hilarious, joyful, and more. And they're one of the main reasons I became an animation reviewer to begin with.
What's the other crippling social awkwardness?
Exactly. So with the help of Monty the Moose, we're going to begin our Canadian Cartoon Review Showcase.
You got it, my bestest best friend. Let us start with the show. Yay!
To start this Canadian escapade off right, I thought it'd be appropriate to start with the juiciest, controversial, and inappropriate Canadian show I could think of. Caillou.
You're getting to be a big boy.
I'm a big boy today.
Caillou was definitely a unique entity in Canadian children's animation. It wasn't educational like The Magic School Bus or Bill Nye, and it wasn't stylistically whimsical like Barney or Blue's Clues. It's really the most mundane setup for a show possible. It's the daily life of a 4-year-old boy named Caillou
and what he does during his pretty ordinary life. He makes messes, goes to the doctor, cries, and has tantrums. A lot.
Silly, silly, silly. Wah! 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 Broke my special beer. Daddy.
Just like a real 4-year-old.
Which is why I sort of admire it. I feel especially in Canadian entertainment there is a greater emphasis on softer, more relaxing tones in its media. Especially when it comes to children entertainment. It's not all... It's more about immersing the children in the tone of the piece to elevate their enjoyment of the show in question. Because in any other instance, no one cares about a 4-year-old. Unless they're doing something funny.
But to get back more on track, let's talk about Caillou's episode format.
Format-wise, Caillou's adventures are told to two little kids by their grandma in short 3 to 5 minute vignettes. It's as simple as that. Like a simple children's storybook. They even had the bright primary colors everywhere from background to Caillou's multicolored outfit. They even added that white blur to the backgrounds to look like an unfinished storybook. By all intents and purposes, this is just a really safe and innocent show. The sort of show that I love to go back on and watch, to just make really messed up jokes about. Like I always found it hilarious how ecstatic these two kids get to just be read a Caillou story, racing to their spots to get to perfect listening position, or in some instances, slowly sliding in.
Yeah, Grandma. Tells me a story.
But even more silly than that, Grandma always comes in with a book that is in some way connecting to these two kids' current situation. Kid holds a teddy bear, it's a story about Caillou having a teddy shirt. Kids eating vegetables, Grandma's got Caillou hating them. Kids sick in the hospital with cancer, well, any book will be appropriate for that.
Caillou has an entire family who has hair. He has an illness and it needs to be taken seriously.
What really sucks is that after a while, they took out Grandma and the kids, so we're just stuck with Caillou's inoffensive adventures, coupled with even more bluntly obvious narrations.
It really is one of those shows that I can't get mad at, as there really is nothing horrible about it.
Don't worry, WHYBOY. The internet is here to make Caillou awful for you.
Wait, what? No, I don't want you to do that!
Too late, booch. Blam. Hut. Baloosh. Bicycles.
Aboot!
You monster.
Internet!
Oh, no, wait. Nero's the one that hates everything, not me. What am I doing?
And dislike.
Now, going to the very strange side of Caillou will need a video in and of itself. So let's just leave off saying, love it or think it's corrupting the minds by you.
It's not, you morons.
That's Caillou.
That's me.
My name is Angela. Hey, hello. Welcome to my very own show. I'll introduce my friends to you. Oh no, it's Nitty Poo.
I don't want this.
Oh, come on, buddy! If you're that dismissive of Canadian animation, then those hostess that insult our animation will win over us!
We're not exactly winning any points in our favor with shows like this!
Because yes, this choppy, crummy looking animation is Angela Anaconda's. It's a much less used animation art style called cutout animation. You most likely would recognize it from shows like South Park and Blue's Clues. But in those shows, the aesthetic of the animation work alongside the cutout style. Here, ugh, what's wrong with your face?
But hey, if the aesthetics of the style work in conjuncture with the narrative nature of the show, then it can still work from a stylistic perspective. Let's let the LA Times summarize what the show is about.
Cutout style animated series. Ah, so that's why I found this concept art. Features 8-year-old Angela as she competes with her arch rival by creating payback fantasies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the concept about fantasy means it didn't really happen, right?
So, in the context of the show, LA Times is saying it's like...
Ah yes, obnoxious as shits. A perfect means to clean my balls. That feels tender.
That me, Pants Harold, destroying my stuff, will take this! Look at me. I'm just standing here minding my own business. What to do? Aha! Now you shall be smooshed! Aha! I win! Yee-hee! Oh, no! No! Fire everywhere! Ah! 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 Why is existence pain? Ah! Yeah, don't get too excited. While Angela's fantasies can be over the top, the main bulk of the show is her getting royally screwed over by her bitch of a classmate in that memoir. And I will commend the writers. If nothing else, they have truly written an insufferable character to make Angela's rival.
I can't wait to begin my research. I'm sure the Tapwater Springs is rich with Manwar family history.
And they do so need saving. Of course, I'd do the same for you if I had an umbrella.
And you had perfect curls. I'd invite you to join me, but we don't allow riffraff aboard my yacht. Chez Perry makes the best croissants, but I never eat the ends. I leave those for the help to clean up. It keeps them busy.
If this were more realistic, I think Angela's fantasies would involve more maiming and murder. Truly, this rivalry is what holds up the rest of the show, as what else do we got to offer? The bargain bin kid archetypes? Fat one, wimpy one, Christian one, Italian one.
Asian one? Oh, no.
I am Ms. Yamagata, your guide. Okay, we stop. Please, solar system. And question!
Stop saying words. Please stop saying those words.
Now, I'm not saying the show for using archetypes. Many shows before and since Angela have used them to great effect. Even in the show itself, they do demonstrate some fun interactions. But it still unfortunately falls back on stale writing, with an odd habit of dropping in really more mature jokes just out of the blue that doesn't really fit with everything else. Like how Angela's teacher and her husband ice skated nude, Angela's friends trading teeth for cupcakes, and how Angela and her friends want to watch their teacher swim nude.
Why can't we have a wholesome kids show where children want to see their teachers naked?
Preach it, sister.
Angela Anaconda in the end becomes a show for me not great, but with its odd animation style, surprising bits of writing, and a rivalry that truly makes you want to see Angela stuff a few baguettes down a certain someone's throat. Even if you can just boil down all of Angela's revenges as very petty, it becomes a show that I'm glad I revisited.
Now, we gotta find the next biggest well-animated Canadian cartoon. We gotta show the world that the animators up north know what they're doing. Monty, show me what you got.
I got stick figures, eh? Yay! Oh, sticking around. What a strange show, to say the least. Honestly, the biggest criticism the show has right out of the gate is that it doesn't feel like a show that has major backing to it. The art style is simple, utilizing stick figures to give it a sort of scribbly drawing look to it, which does make sense to have in context to the show, as the main characters Stacy and Bradley are kids, so you'll want to kind of capture the idea that their daily adventures are being portrayed from the perspective of a child. Think Angela Anaconda, but their fantasies actually advance their story. Though in contrast, Sticking Around's humor seems to not really hit its mark, even less than Angela's does. The issue is that it switches between what feels like a child's imagination to what is actually being portrayed, and there is really no transition between the two of them to really tell them apart, which sort of deflates the comedy, as that sort of makes the show come off more random in terms of humor, rather than having a structured setup to punchline.
And again, as Canadian humor does, it gets weird. Like, one of the main running gags of the character Polly is that she drags around her dead pet poodle Pepperoni with her and refuses to admit Pepperoni is actually dead.
Nice going, B-Man.
Ah, so she must have been watching a lot of Monty Python as a little girl.
Look, my lad, I know a dead parrot when I see one, and I'm looking at one right now.
No, that's not dead, it's resting.
Resting?
Guess that is one of the saving graces of the show, that despite its limited animation style, it really allows itself to play with the tight children's show space it occupies, and makes more, for lack of a better phrase, grown-up jokes. Even though it also does do the childish jokes as well. It became a show for me all about pushing the boundaries within a tight box and see what one can do within it. So even the random nature of the humor comes off endearing after a while. What isn't as endearing is his repetitive catchphrase nature. Everyone has a catchphrase and they love to repeat it until it burrows into your brain.
Real mature, Bradley. Real mature, Bradley. Real mature, you guys. Real mature, Lance. Real mature, B-man. For your big fat information. 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 Ask for your big fat information.
Holy mackerel! Holy mackerel! Holy mackerel!
What?
I guess that is one way to make you remember the show. Make it the viewing quality of water torture. But the show must have done well. I mean, it ran for 3 seasons and had 39 episodes, along with 3 video cassette releases. That's nothing to turn your nose at. We're lucky at this point for some shows to go past 2 seasons.
Scoot your booty, that booty, and I do the booty scooty. Scoot your booty, that booty, and I do the booty scooty.
Or for 2 seasons too long, depending on how you look at it.
Love it or hate it, sticking around apparently was living up to its namesake and was indeed sticking around. Plus the theme song was awesome. What's better than a show about babies for a younger audience of kids? Mostly anything, really. For a kid, a baby's just a disgusting, barfing, and pooping attention hog.
But what if you made that into a superhero? Isn't that just Baby Geniuses too? Oh, I see the similarities.
It really makes one find it hard to believe that Christian and Yvonne Tremblay, the 2 dudes behind the awesome action-adventure show SWAT Cats, would somehow be responsible for something like Mega Babies. The show's premise was pretty weird. It was about 3 babies who got hit by some magical moonbeams while on life support and gained superhuman abilities, including super strength, invulnerability, and gross powers like super farting, poop, and boogers. Truly the classiest of shows. Now the 3 babies are Derek, the yellow-skinned brute one, Buck, the blue dumb one, and Meg, the pink girl one. And that's for all those out there who love obvious color labeling. The 3 babies are washed over by their walking European accent, Nurse Lasso, and from there the show falls into the whole Monster of the Week kind of territory, where they will fight monsters and aliens, but use very disgusting toilet humor to save the day. Now, when I say toilet humor, I mean they spared no expense in avoiding any of the disgusting humor you can think of. We're talking farting, vomiting, boogering, spitting, burping, and famously pooping. But don't worry, the occasion will mix it up a bit with some vein popping muscles, flesh exposing, and drool. You know to get that variety in there. The show is by no means anything special, despite all this gross stuff. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like someone saw those Garbage Pail Kids cards, and those Ed Roth Ratfing decals, but wanted to somehow make it more action-oriented in a children's show.
And I guess in a lot of ways that's a really good thing, because I saw the Garbage Pail Kids show.
Trash out!
And we all know the atrocity that is the movie.
Hey, check it out! Old Faithful!
They truly made some decent lemonade when you consider how rotten these lemons were, coincidentally even making one of the kids look like a lemon.
And I know it is almost blasphemous to say this, as this is a show that is so harshly slanted for its juvenile and stupid party humor, and rather distasteful visuals, but to be honest, despite all that, I find it still laughable. It's sort of like a so bad it's good kind of quality. It's so over the top with its gross humor that it enters completely ridiculous territory, that to some extent, you can't help but maybe laugh at the stupidity. So give credit where credit is due, it did vaguely entertain me to a small extent. Sure, it's by no means highbrow or intelligent in any way possible, but you know what? If it made me laugh, I guess it did something right. And this is an entertainment medium, and by all stretch of the imagination,
and it is a major stretch. It did moderately entertain.
Ah, gross! You're like mega babies. You're like a poop cancer that nobody likes, and you probably have a small dingle-donger.
Hey! That was mighty rude of you to say, eh?
Oh yeah? I was rude. Well, what are you gonna do about it, you blow mouse turd?
Nothing. I'm just gonna be mighty disappointed in you, you hoser.
Oh. I'm so sorry, Monty. Please don't do that. WHYBOY, I'm so sorry. I went a little bit overboard there.
Oh, it's okay, Vanilla. I know how passionate you get for these sort of cartoons.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna go send threatening emails to grade schoolers now. I'm sorry again, Monty.
Oh gosh, it's all water under the bridge. Don't worry about it, eh?
Thank you. You're good.
Yep, stern politeness, a Canadian's greatest weapon.
Vanilla does leave me with a dilemma, though. I don't want to end this off on mega babies. I want this special to have a really strong finale, a positive note, to really leave an impression with everybody.
I get an idea that's even neater than Tibbets and coffee.
Those are some strong words, Monty.
I know, eh? But it's definitely deserved if it's about this.
Oh yeah, Cyber 6. One of the most breathtaking animated shows that I've ever seen in terms of writing, animation, and presentation. And it's Canadian. Specifically, it was produced by the Vancouver-based NOA, or Network of Animation, and animated by TMS Entertainment, who you might know for their work on Batman the Animated Series, DuckTales, and Sonic X. And definitely what connects all these shows is each of their distinct art styles. In Cyber 6's case, a story of our leather-clad genetic superhero facing off with a Nazi mad scientist uses a lot of dark shadowing that then offset it with bright primary colors to make each scene bold and distinct to the viewer. The cafes, Cyber 6's home, just the city itself feels like it has such personality to it due to the art style. And all this from an Argentinian comic series from 1992. While I'm unable to appreciate the difference in adaptation as I can't read Spanish, the art style of the comics to cartoon transferred beautifully. The cartoon I prefer a bit more due to its more cleaned up look. And from research, the main changes that were made from book to cartoon were to downplay a lot of the more adult theming from the original comic. Like Cyber 6 getting her sustenance not from a vial but from sucking out a monster's necks, glossing over the Nazi background and the reasoning for Cyber 6's sexy leather outfit, and some aspects of Cyber 6's childhood was just sort of chopped out. But in a way, the show greatly benefits from all these adult themes being downsized or taken out, as it isn't like they just vanish in a kidifying hand wave away. You see the remnants of that adult tone seep through, spoken and shown through subtleties and subtext. I'd say the most on the nose that's still left behind would be the villain Jose goose-stepping around like a little Hitler youth. There's just so much I can gush over the show about, as I honestly feel there isn't anything I personally dislike in it. From the brilliance of Cyber 6's secret identity, the romance of her and her friend Lucas, to the sweet-ass Panther Data 7 as her sidekick, and the numerous amazingly choreographed and staged fight scenes. Move over, Futurama! Cyber 6 is hands down my favorite animated TV show that just so happens to be Canadian.
And that was it for this round of Canadian cartoon reviews. Don't worry, I have a whole lot more cartoons to talk about in the future. But until then, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Monty the Moose.
Oh, don't be sad, buddies. Remember, eh, if you feel the maple syrup of kindness swishing around in your heart, then you are just as much a Canuck as me or WHYBOY.
We'll remember that, Monty. Whatever that meant.
Well, it's about time I start heading out of here. Gotta go to the most Canadian place in Canada next.
Where's that?
Dildo Newfoundland.
Is that a joke?
Farewell!
Thanks for watching Cartoon Corner, everyone. If you enjoyed watching me show my Canucks side of animation, like and share this video around so we can get a part 2. Also, please be sure to subscribe to our videos, and if you want to support ToonGrin.com and its efforts to make bigger and better videos, consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can be a patron that decides an episode of Cartoon Corner in the future. Or get some of our merch from the TeePublic shop and wear some of your support. Anything you can give from just a like on these videos is greatly appreciated. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, be sure to tune in to ToonGrin and have a wonderful Canada Day.